Welcome back to page 121. Today we're going to take a look at the next installment of Deities of Greyhawk from Gary Gygax. This is Dragon 69. We get two deities in here and a new type of elemental. So this was a very formative time for Dragon Magazine. It was something I bought every month and almost always put stuff into my game immediately, and this month was no exception. So we're going to take a look at the gods presented here, maybe one or two other little features in this particular issue. I'm also going to show a little bit of a layout for a game I'll be running. I've had a couple of people ask what kind of layouts we use. They've seen some of my older stuff, so I'm going to show one from a game I'll be doing tonight. So today on page 121, a couple of new deities and a look at a D&D game I'll be setting up. Okay, this is a small layout I'm doing for the game tonight. This is just supposed to be like a little crater lake. Maybe an old quarry that flooded, or maybe just a naturally occurring crater type lake. You see the raft in the middle there. That raft is from Reaper. I like this model. I got this the other day and I thought, oh, that could be interesting. I'll have to incorporate it in something. So I did. That raft is a mimic that I have dubbed a swimmick. It's an aquatic mimic. So hence swimmick. It's 10 hit dice. Armor class 2, it's meant to be formidable, but it has no adhesion, because I thought, well, that wouldn't be fair if I could just have their feet stick to the raft and sink them to the bottom. The trick with the raft is the locals know to toss it a hunk of meat before they get on, and it will ferry them across no problem. If they don't feed it the hunk of meat, it goes ahead and takes its own out of one of the riders. So we'll see how this goes. I think they'll be fine. They're a higher level group. They have various means to deal with aquatic problems, but it's just interesting. We'll see how it goes. All right, back to the regularly scheduled Dragon Magazine. All right, here we are, Dragon number 69. In this issue, we got a bunch of goodies. It's from January of 83. Pretty much the height of, a long height of good offerings from Dragon Magazine. We get the Thief Acrobat in this one. Everyone's favorite. Runes. These are really good articles on runes in D&D. Nice historical basis. And here's another one on rune stones, how you use them, by Ed Greenwood, no less. And then a split class for nimble characters, the Thief Acrobat. Yeah, this was a thing. We tried it, November of 83, or January of 83 rather. It did come out in Unearthed Arcana, the official. It's not a real usable add-on class. I tried it. I ran a character based on these articles and on Unearthed Arcana. It doesn't hold up. Sorry. This one's kind of a swing and a miss for me. Cool Traveler Head, though. And here we are. Deities, Demigods, in the world of Greyhawk by Gary Gygax. Our first deity offered today is Istas, who's a major goddess. She's the Lady of our Fate. Her portfolio includes Fate, Destiny, Predestination, and the Future. Armor class -8, 377 hit points, 100% MR. She is neutral, and her worshiper's alignment is any but neutral preferred. And no uncertain what plane she's from. Her symbol's the golden spindle with 3 strands. She's kind of taken from the Norns of mythology, from the Norse mythos, I always felt, but still interesting. Istas can create a couple of strands at will, once per melee round, and each of the strands has their own power. So we've got a strand of binding, which just basically wraps you up as if you were in iron chains. A strand of cancellation causes the object struck to cease to exist as if it never existed. Only non-living things are affected. This is interesting if you hit it, say, on a mythical magical sword. Strand of death, save or die. Strand of hostility, makes everybody start fighting themselves. Strand of passage. This glowing strand instantly connects the plane it's on with any other plane Istas desires and lasts for 3 rounds. Strand of sending. You have to save or be sent to the time and the place in the near future, which poses the greatest threat to its freedom of existence. So the interesting thing here is she can, if you get her mad, she can just send you to your next big opponent and cause you to be in a lot of trouble. We've got Web of Enmeshment, which is what it sounds like. A Web of Entropy. Invisible web is 30-foot square. All magic items must save or act as if they were struck by a strand of cancellation and become non-magical. We've got a Web of Stars. Immediately transport to a time-space of unknown type in boundless proportions. So her big thing is mystery, intrigue in the future. She can just move you around as she needs to. You're pretty much not going to deal too well with fighting her avatar in any way, because she can simply wink you out of your current existence and put you in a really bad place. She's kind of neat. She's better used, I think, as just a background force rather than even introducing her as an avatar. I've never used her as an avatar in any of my games. In fact, I've had very few Istas worshippers, although that's fairly common in my campaign for non-player characters to worship Istas. Interesting stuff about Istas is her clerics. 3rd level or higher, they cast 1 augury spell per day is an additional spell. 7th level, they get the Strand of Binding. Once per day to 10-foot range. 1 round per level of the cleric. Binding can only be broken on Benbar's Lift Gates. And the centers of worship for Istas are Divers, Greyhawk, Rauxes, Realm Ward, and Stoink, which is kind of interesting that she's more of an urban type deity. The other thing that Istas has is a companion, friend, servitor, however you want to make it, called a Time Elemental. She has the big guy. The big guy is the guy in the parentheses here. So normal Time Elemental is 12 or 16 dice. He's got 20. And basically, the Time Elementals are common or noble. She's served by a noble. And these guys are nasty. They can age you. They can de-age you. Time-related spells are worthless near it, so time stop's not going to work, anything like that. I had an idea for a campaign where there was going to be a lesser time elemental that, for reasons the player characters encounter, who enjoyed potions of longevity as a snack. So my idea was that the party would have to get some potions of longevity and feed this guy's sweet tooth. I never really bothered with that idea. If you want to use it, go nuts. I never saw a good way to kind of wrap that into a campaign. So our last deity, only the second one, but the last one we're dealing with in this issue is Ober Hai the Shalm. He's a lesser god. His portfolio is nature, wildlands, freedom, hunting, and wild beasts. AC -2, 140 hit points. Pretty typical. 100% MR, that's high. He is neutral. His worshipper's alignment is neutral. And his plane is prime material. That's intriguing because as a prime material dweller, is he our prime material or another prime material? Whenever a deity is listed as prime material, I take it to be Oerth. So he is our Oerth. Oh, he is a 9th level cleric, 15th level druid. Just occurred to me, I forgot to do that for Istas. Her powers are 14th level cleric, 14th level druid, 24th level magic user, savant, and a 14th level illusionist. So back to Ober Hai. So he is a 9th level cleric, 15th level druid, and that's it. And we see his deal is he's a deity of nature. He can appear to be a human form. He does wander his native realm, Oerth. Now, just because he's native to Oerth, unlike Ayuz, I would never use this guy as the deity walking in his form. It would still be an avatar. But interesting. I don't know. You could do it either way with this guy. Ober Hai can only be hit by 3 weapons level 3 or plus 3 or greater. He loves nature and wilderness. He's patron of druid and a friend of those who dwell in harmony with their natural surroundings. Most of Ober Hai's male followers are male, and those of Alona are female. So he and Alona have kind of a rivalry going. They listed here as a rivalry and antipathy. I don't know about that. They kind of both have the same spheres, so maybe it's something to do with that. I would never play it that way. I would just play that they're both nature deities. And clerics of Ober Hai are usually druids. Clerics wear russet garments, blah, blah, blah. 3rd level, they may substitute 1 1st level druid spell for a cleric spell. At 6th, 1 2nd level for druid spell for a cleric spell. And at 9th, a 3rd level. These are not in addition to, these are in place of. So kind of interesting. At 12th level, they gain the ability to take the form of any small woodland animal or bird. May use druid weapons as well as clerical ones. Druidical clerics likewise get cleric spells and weapons. So I'm not really sure what that means. If that means the druids who worship him would be able to swap for some cleric spells at that level. That's how I would read it, and I would rule it. So that's it today. Just kind of a short offering. Oh, great ad for Space Opera. I have to do a profile of that game one of these days. Just some ways. This is a Roger Moore article to improve D&D characters. Maybe change around some stuff. Here's a couple of featured creatures by Gary Gygax. I don't remember seeing either one of these anywhere else after this. The Stagalor and the Zygom. And then Cape Crusaders and Masked Marvels. And we have a little look here at various things, and even a Doc Savage reference in this article. So, gotta love that article. It mentions Doc Savage. So that's it for today. I'm really not going to go all the way through the Dragon magazine. This did have a little game attached to it, as dragons tended to do back in that day. It was Arakar's Wand. Arakar's Wand. It's a game for 2 players. So I never played it, obviously. It's unpunched. I read some of these games. I never really used them. So that's really it for today from page 121. I just thought you'd find those deities a little interesting. And thank you for indulging my look at my little setup for tonight's game. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. If you liked what you heard and saw, please like and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.